Okay, this one's going to be a bit of a different recording. And so I just noticed, sort of on Sunday, Monday of this last week, that my anxiety was getting quite heightened through this period of time. And so I felt, to be honest, that I was so anxious that I couldn't do the couple of things that I feel like I needed to do to get away from my anxiety. It started to feel like it was getting a little bit out of control. And so I wouldn't suggest that I'm an overly anxious person normally. I would say I just have sort of a healthy level of anxiety. I have noticed or think that it appears to me is that a lot of my clients struggle with anxiety every now and then. Well, not struggle, but have anxiety. And so I can imagine with everything that's going on, it probably is heightened at the moment. And so I thought, this, if there's a little bit of traction from this, I would roll out a few more of these types of things. There's so many resources available all over the internet. And, I think everyone, well, to me, I look at them and go, I just can't deal with that at the moment. So I just thought what I'm going to tell you is three quick things that I'm going to do over the next week, which is going to put me in a better position to manage this over the next period of time than if I don't do them. And I would really like if you're watching this, to tell me the three things that you're going to do. So if we're accountable to each other, then you're much more likely to do them. So three things that you know you need to do to better manage your anxiety. Because it strikes me this isn't going to go for a day or a week. It could go for months upon months. And the better we can handle these sorts of things, I feel like the better we'll come out the other side of it, or through the experience through it. And so my three things, I've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here, so I'll just kind of bring that up so I know what I'm talking about or talking to. Um, so the first one I think is really important for me is I'm not going to be looking at my phone consistently all day, checking Twitter, ABC News, or whatever other resources are around. I felt like, especially last weekend, I was looking at my phone nearly constantly and getting sort of a constant stream of this is what's going on in Italy, this is how America's developing, this is what's going to happen, this is how New Zealand's doing it. And it felt like it was almost like death by a thousand cuts. I'm getting this slowly just anxiety provoking thoughts consistently every time I looked at my phone. And so I do need to keep up to date with it because it affects my work and my life and my family. And so what I've done is just going, well, rather than get this slow drip all day, I'm just going to get up to speed with it once a day. And I'm going to limit myself, and this sounds crazy, but I'm going to limit myself to an hour. So an entire hour. So, you could really probably be up to speed in sort of 10 or 15 minutes. But, if I put all those 100 times in a day I would have done it, it would have been well over an hour. So I've just said no more than an hour, and I put a timer on, and I try and beat that. So that's number one, which is just once a day, get up to speed with what's going on. Okay. Second thing is, so as I've essentially tuned in once a day, the second thing is tune out, a long way out. And that to me is not getting on my phone to do Instagram or whatever, because it is all essentially just woven in with COVID stuff. So anywhere I turn on my phone, if it's my email or whatever, there's COVID related stuff there, and so that again starts that anxiety stuff. So the ways that I'm escaping, or the way I'm escaping, is reading books, to be honest. So, and I've made a very conscious decision to read fiction only, rather than non-fiction. I feel like I just need to absolutely escape. And so I've read every Leanne Moriarty book in the last period of time. I think she's an amazing author. And I think that her books definitely allow me to escape absolute all sort of reality and just get lost in that book for a period of time. And that's also helped me sort of relax to get better quality sleep through the night. I know if I sleep better, I tend to function better as well. So that's kind of a very specific thing. So definitely get away from the phone as much as I possibly can, and get total distraction with some books. Or, like I still do like a walk a day and things like that, but the books is the main thing when I'm at home. and spending time with the kids, to be honest, as well, and just not thinking about it. And then the third thing I've really noticed that does help me is my diet. And this is a little bit of a controversial one, but it's not that I want to get skinnier or things like that, but I feel like certainly if I'm eating better, I feel better. And that's just how I typically feel. And so I find that in most instances, I'm better as an abstainer, which just means I don't tend to go that great with just eating sort of 1 or 2 bits of chocolate a night. I'm much more like I'll eat the entire block until we buy another block. I'll eat that entire block. So I tend to do better abstaining from some of those things. Generally, other things which might be sort of treats or whatever, I'm much better at moderating, but I sort of have those couple of other things. And so I, of course, feel really terrible about myself. Well, not, of course, I feel terrible about myself if I eat a whole block of chocolate because I know I don't want to. I know I'm just eating because I'm anxious. And so I just have made an effort to basically focus on eating the foods that I know that helps me feel better, and limiting or just totally avoiding the foods that I know that I'm prone to not be able to moderate, overeat, and feel horrendous about myself for the next period of time. So that's kind of the three things that I'm focusing on, which is tuning in for a specific period of time, getting the heck away, so tuning out, and then focusing on kind of what's going into my body to help me feel better and to power me up for the things I need to do. So I would love it if at least one person sends me the three things they are going to focus on. Because I think I've told you the three things I'm going to focus on in the next week. And by me putting it out there, it is really accountable. So I'd like it a few people. If there's a bit of take up in it and interest, I will do a couple of things like this. I'm not going to focus wholly on that because there's heaps of great other resources around. But I feel like if you need someone to keep you accountable to doing these things, I'm happy to be that person to help you through this time. See you later.